saying that he had power to work and was working. So why was it not in operation? He commissioned it 6 months before he left office.
Yeah, Mr. Isaac, we finished with that one, so let's move on to the next one on the Ghana front, which is yesterday the minister. Throughout the week when this issue came up. So we will go into that. But one thing that has come up, which is a bit worrying for every Ghanaian citizen, including myself, who calls regular to Ghana, is the ability of this new system to actively or partially or passively record voice messages. This is one thing that must be a very grave concern to every Ghanaian. If this is true, what the Chamber of Telecommunication Chairman came out to say today, that this new system has the ability to record our voices and intrude on our privacy. I think I'll start with Nana this time around. Nana, what's your take on this? Yeah, I think 6 minutes again, so that 6 minutes again.
I think this issue is borders with legal matters and security matters and so on and so forth. The outcry of the critics of this implementation is to do with the security matters, that your call can be tapped somewhere and somebody can monitor what you are saying and all those stuff. But we ask ourselves that is it something legal? Is it something that can be established without any legal basis or whatever? You see, I think the guy was quoting some laws. Monitoring activities by government was established by law. The Communication Service Tax Amendment Act. This law was preceded by the Electronic Communication Amendment Act, which authorized the monitoring of international incoming calls. This legal framework not only established the basis for monitoring activities, but also prescribed certain design and connection standards for the monitoring system. As a law-abiding industry, we only seek that the monitoring conducted through the common platform should be done according to the very law that empowers the NCA, and that is our informed position is that the current architecture from the NCA and KGB does not conform to these design standards.
Okay.
Let me continue. The architecture does not provide our customers the privacy of their communication that the Constitution guarantees. You see, that is why I was saying that it borders about constitutional matters and then security. And he goes on to say that because I'm not expert in that, that's why I'm trying to read for people to know what is happening. Right. We are of the firm belief that continued collaboration between our technical teams and that of the NCA can resolve the difficulty that currently exists. Indeed, we have an industry submitted alternative designs for consideration to the NCA and MOC, Ministry of Communication, in good faith for consideration. The present challenges are as follows. The current architecture seeks to connect beyond equivalent points. You see, so these are some of the things they are raising, that it doesn't conform to the existing law. That is their challenges. And is it true that it doesn't conform to it? You see, we have people who have got legal brains, even Oslo, who is a legal practitioner. Maybe they should have known this. But by the time you go straight into it, because maybe politically we have connections with this company, and it happened. Both NDC and MPP or whatever, they have affiliations and whatever. That when they come to power, they try to meet their fulfillment or their promises to these companies. And other than that, I don't see why they shouldn't. They are hesitating to come into terms with the what do you call it, the main operators of our communication system in Ghana. You see, you are a minister who are in charge, but there are people who are actually working, doing the job. That is their job, and that is their living and everything, like MTN or whatever. That is their job. So when you are making an implementation, they are stakeholders. That's why you say stakeholders. You see, people who have a say in whatever is going on. You should come into terms, because they are in the job and they know the consequences that will befall on us.
But don't you think, because this man is the, I think, Chamber of Telecommunication member, their chairman, don't you think he is fighting for the interest so that they can pay less tax?
He is quoting law. He is quoting law. But his claim.
What law did he quote?
I read it to you, the act, the Communication Act and whatever. So he's using all the, sometimes that is what I like, that when somebody is using the existing law to back his claim. That is all that I'm looking for. When I was going through, that is what I was searching, that if there is any act that relates to this term, and actually it came to light. I've read it to everyone to everyone's here. You see, so why are you bypassing the existing law and do something which is contrary to the law? I don't think they are paying tax and everything. I don't see why they can invade tax. There's no way a company like MTN can invade tax.
No, maybe the appropriate amount of tax. As the
government
should even done that before and we charge them. So it's not about what you think.
To me, it's about the legal aspect in it, not about the tax. I've not come across maybe the taxing system or whatever.
And what's your take on the parliament accepting the deal?
Yeah, but you see, when it goes to parliament, it's difficult to find authentic results because we got minority and majority. And we've all seen previously what has been happening, that the majority will use their number to overtake the minority. And so
is that what happened?
That is what happens in parliament.
I mean, that's what happened yesterday?
Yesterday, I don't know whether they voted in consensus or I don't know.
I did not even vote.
So how did was it approved?
Yeah.
That is what I'm saying, that they have their interest. So people have their interest or whatever. When it comes to some matters, they all come into one agreement. When there is other matters, they try to devise it. You see. But all that I'm saying is that this is a very, very sensitive concern that we raise, and we should act cautiously if it's not going to compromise our security apparatus or our security information or whatever, confidentiality and all those things come into play. So my advice is disagree, but whatever it is, we have a saying that it's only a fool who does not change. So if there's anything that they can still listen to people who are actually on the job to amend things, I think it will be better for all of us.
Okay, thank you very much. It's 7:05. That means I use 8 minutes. And
exactly.
What I'll do is Mr. Bane will also get the same 8 minutes. But before then, let's make this quick announcement. Maybe a few seconds.
It's not part of my 8 minutes.
No, it's not. There's a land being sold, patches of land being sold in well sought for areas in Ghana. So if you are listening or watching to us and you have an interest in getting yourself some affordable and legal-free or what do you call it? Litigation free, yeah.
Litigation free land. Yes.
We want your litigation free land, yeah. Contact us on 011-8328-2863. It's scattered all across Ghana and the entire Accra area. From
how much?
It depends on. But the good thing is you can pay the installment until everything is done, and you'll be given everything. So that's one of the announcements. And the last one is our very own Mr. Stevie Eboa, the bus driver. He's lost his mother, and from now.
The mother
The mother is in Ghana, but he will be having a funeral here.
The burial is here.
Yeah.
That's what I heard this year.
No, I think the funeral is here. I think,
I know him very well.
Okay.
Okay.
So that will be done this 30th of June. So he's calling all family, friends, and loved ones to come and support him. It's funeral, so nepotism is
not
giving it employment.
Not employment.
So, Mr. Banya, let's move on and back to this county GBG deal. That seems not to be ending.
Okay.
Your government, the contract has been awarded. I'm told
it's very, very interesting.
Upon.
It's very, very interesting. You know, it's now almost. It's not 360, but it's 180 degrees. Okay. Initially, the allegation was that this is corruption. Okay. But I think with information coming out and explanation going on, and now we've moved away from corruption, and we are now talking about the security of our information.
Imani, Franklin Kujo is still having it in court, so it's not ending.
Now, Imani has not even gone. When did he go to court? It is one of the Suba when we decided to cancel their contract. They are in court. Imani has not even gone to court, and they've challenged them. Is it today that they went to court? Even today. Even today. Nana, let me make my presentation, please. You finish yours. You know, but what worries me, and Imani, or Franklin Kujo, if he's not careful, he will lose his credibility. You know, because Esla went to Parliament, gave reasons, even the difference between the current contract and the previous one, additional tax that the new company would do that the previous two companies were not doing. So in terms of scope, this new company will be doing more than the previous one. In terms of cost, for us we will be paying 1.6, 1.4. We were paying the previous one 2.6. Okay, so they were doing less by charging us more. Secondly, nothing from the previous company was going to be ours, but stay ours. They've already been in existence for 5 years, and we have nothing to talk about. For us in this current agreement, the 1.6 that we are paying every year, after 5 years, all the machines and everything that they install will become our property.
But they were not recording us, the previous ones. That's the main cause for concern.
We will come to that because this main cause is come only today.
No, I just remember we said last week.
Listen, it has been there for years that they were refusing to even allow these subers to tap into their system. And that was the reason that they were using. Now they've made law and they've made government accountable that if government, for whatever reasons, listen to your conversation or breaches your privacy, you can sue the government, not the telcos. They've drawn their distinction. So what's your problem? For me, there's no problem. Why can't you see a government? People see the government for various reasons. It's not like you take Nana Kufuado. If you are handled by the police, you can sue the police agency and you get your compensation. If National Communication Agency, which is in this case, those owning those contracts or the responsibility, if your information, your telephone conversation comes out and it's through their negligence, you can sue them. So I really don't see. But for me, that is where the hypocrisy is coming from. This morning, when they interviewed Franklin Kujo, it was so sad. He said Ursula went to Parliament and did not say anything apart from singing and quoting Bible. This is somebody who is supposed to be content. I was expecting him to make some admission that actually I didn't know these things. But if all along he knew that actually what we are paying this time round is far less than what we were paying previously, if he knew that the scope of this contract is actually broader than the previous one, and if he knew that after 5 years all the installation and everything will become the property of Ghana, and he was still talking about fraud or whatever and bogus contract, then it's not being fair. And that is why people are not even saying that he was being paid by the telcos. Because all along the telcos have been quiet. Until today, coming out to say that their worry is that this machine will breach people's conversation. Do you know that this telecommunication people can listen to your conversation? Do you know that? Or you don't know? Yeah.
Yeah, when there is an issue, they can retrieve it.
That's right.
But not someone tapping in.
It's the same thing. And even this one, what they are even explaining is that the purpose, these people, don't forget that they've been commissioned to do a specific job. The role that they are supposed to do is to do these 4 rules, monitor to make sure that these people, if you make a call and then it's for 4 minutes, 27 seconds, they don't turn around to say it was 3 minutes and take the rest. So that is the purpose.
I think what this guy is saying is that they should make an adjustment just to ensure that they cannot tap into listening of the calls. That's the simple submission they are making. They are not saying they don't agree to it.
As we are talking now, some of the companies have already how do you call it, log on to the system. This is something that can
It's only Glow.
No, they say Vodafone to have done it.
When?
I don't know, but when he was talking,
what I read was only Glow now is compliant.
Well,
they will eventually do, but
they have to
their concern must be resolved.
Their concern listen, sometimes are they more sympathetic to us? Are they their conversation? Our conversation is
I'm very, very particular about that.
Then you should leave us first to fight our cause. When we are paying high electricity bills, they don't fight for us. We fight for higher electricity bills. If teachers need higher salaries or whatever, they fight for it. So
I think it's against their ethics. From what they do, the telcos, it's against their ethics that someone can tap into their system and listen to their customers' conversation. It's against their ethics.
The point is, the law that is quoting, the law is saying that if they don't tap on into that machine within a month, they should be fined. And on 11th June, if they've not, they will be fined.
That's a threat, isn't it?
It's law, it's not threat.
They are raising a concern, so we should look into their concern and find a way
Since
of
when? Listen.
Not issuing threats and ultimatums.
When Ursula was talking, I listened to this conversation. They had a meeting with them as far back as in March 2017. And they admitted that what is happening now, these people who are supposed to be monitoring are not monitoring it live, data. So it was agreed that this should be done. They've told them other countries that the same thing is going on. And if they have any concerns, let's go and check. They are not willing to go. Sometimes people take some purposes, and I can understand who wants to be checked and pay the right tax. They don't want to do anything and they pay less than what they are supposed to be paying. But the point is, the law that is in place as we are talking now, if one agency is holding your information and it comes out, or they data breach and somebody gets hold of your information, you sue them. Now they've made it clear that for the system that we are going to use, if there's any data breach, you will know whether it came through this or through that. And if it comes out that it is as the responsibility or irresponsibility of the National Commission people, they will be the one responsible for any compensation. So why should you be worried? The law covers that, But for me, what is sad is an allegation you made. Because if all along we are talking about, oh, customers' data confidentiality or privacy breach and those things, we wouldn't have been here. It started by this is corruption, this is blah, blah, blah. And now this information coming out and people getting to know that actually it is not like you painted it. If you are now moving to another area, I can understand that. But the fact of the matter is, this is not something that you can hold on to say that if you don't do this, I'll not do that. Because no one tells police officer that if you are coming to catch me, don't send that top police officer because he's wicked man. Send the woman. You don't decide who should come and arrest you.
I think they are not deciding. It's a concern, an area of concern.
And this concern, where did they send it to?
Sorry?
Where did they send this concern?
They've been sending it to
the media.
NCA.
No, that's what they mean. I'm saying that they even be having meetings. They've not. Last week, Tuesday or so, Franklin Kujo and the Deputy Communication Minister, they were both on radio, and he said that these people are not expressing any concern. But this is, we are listening government. If they are expressing this concern, we will be happy to address it.
Okay,
I'm a Ghanaian, I'm a cause. I wouldn't want anyone to listen to me.
Exactly.
You know, but it should not stop people paying tax before they listen to my concern. They should go on and pay the right tax while we are addressing that issues.
Thank you very much. Thank you a lot for your submission on that. Now, this is where we move on to the international scene. And the first one on the international scene is the looming trade war. The looming trade war that is coming between President Donald Trump of the USA and the heads of states of the EU, Canada, and Mexico. As I said in the introduction, today was the ultimatum, or the deadline of the ultimatum that President Donald Trump issued in March about his intention to increase the tariffs on steels and aluminiums on their imports into the America, which corresponds to about 25% and 10% respectively. So this has called for some reaction from the key allies of the Americas, which seems unfortunate. Week in, week out, issues on Donald Trump's inability to stick to rules come out. So I will start with Mr. Dano Taprija about this issue, because the UK government has come out that it will not be fair for them to respond retaliatively, but the EU and the Canadian and the Mexicans have come out to say that they respond with appropriate measure. So why do you see this? Is it fair for the key allies to be treated this way?
Well, the little that I won't say much about it, but the very little that I will say is his move does not enhance international trading or bilateral trading with other countries, because if you are coming out with strict measures regarding international trading, that there should be a bilateral cooperation or a mutual agreement as to what to do. You cannot sit there, because the trade is not about you alone, it involves other nations. So you cannot sit there and come up with measures. So yeah, it's coming to your country and you have every right to control the imports into your country if you think it's damaging your economy. I think in economics they do that too, that you place a higher tax on food, goods and products which are maybe damaging your country. For instance, like maybe alcohol and other drugs that you think people are misusing them. So you place a higher tax on them so that the importation will be minimal. I think it's economic in economic sense, it's in the right directions, but my concern is dealing with other countries, and all that I'm asking is what is those iron and aluminium damaging American economy or what? I don't know.
I think the reason they came up was, if I remember, they said it's against their national security because the local companies are losing job and the external ones or the foreign ones are taking over them.
It's also another way of controlling your indigenous, helping the indigenous companies to come up. It's one of the economic measures that you use to curb when you see that the foreign companies are taking over the indigenous one. You use that to curb it. I think it's in economic sense, it's in the right direction. If that is what I'm saying.
I think it's against World Trade Organization.
That is what I'm saying. That it's not just about America. It's involves other nations. And me, I don't know much about this issue. So that is why I say I would say very little about it. But my little knowledge is when you are dealing with international, it's in two sides. When you are dealing with international trading, there should be a bilateral cooperation. And on the other side, if we need to, I mean, my country, I've seen how these schools are damaging my country. I should use some measures to curb it. So I think it's in two dimensions that we need to look at. They need to look into it. But I don't have much to say about it because I'm very little knowledge about those things.
Thank you, Nana. Thank you for your input on that. Mr. Vanier, you've done economics. So we know according to law of demand and supply, I think the international producers have threatened that they will limit their supply to the U.S. So what will be the net effect of that? Will it lead to job losses or will it lead to a negative effect in the U.S.?
That is on the contrary, because what it's actually trying to do is to reduce the quantum of importation, that is the number of steel and iron that people are exporting to US. Because normally what happens is that because something economies of scale, there are certain things that is cheaper producing elsewhere. Okay, so either because of, say, if you take, say, plantation of, say, yam, a particular country may have fertile land or skills and knowledge in producing yam, so they can produce yam at a low cost. And if you allow such country to export yam to your own country, because you are now learning how to plant yam, the cost of people planting yam in your country is high. So if you allow that country who have experience and everything, they're dumping it there, all those people learning how to plant yam locally will collapse because they can't compete with them with the price. You know. So for you to be able to reduce what is coming in, to encourage people to do it. Ghana, we've done it. Even under Mama, we thought that the quantum of poultry that we were importing was too much. So for us as Ghanaians to encourage local poultry, we decided to restrict the quantity or the quantum of poultry that we were importing, so that the excess, the local market, would do that. And for you to stop.
But I think that's only when you have the ability to produce enough for the local consumption. And it's not the case for you.
That is not what they're doing. No, that is not what they're doing. They are not stopping it. They've increased the tariff. They've increased the tariff, so the
price will go up.
That's right. So the price will go. It's not like people are not producing in the US, but they produce at a higher cost. So if you go to market, the ones produced in the US are expensive, and people go for the imported ones that are cheaper. So now putting tariffs or tax on those that are coming in, the prices will be the same. So if you go to the market, you wouldn't really have the option of buying cheaper one. Okay, and that is where those who are also exporting are complaining. That is the European Union and those people saying that, oh, if you impose 25 or 20% import tax.
But have you factored in transportation costs?
whatever the case.
I think it won't be the same, you know.
No, they've done their own calculation and they know that looking at how much those imported goods are sold in the market, if they put 20 to 25% tax on it, the price difference will be almost the same. Okay, because they know that say you sell it at £100 and the local one is 120. So they know that if they put 20% tax on the 101, it will be 120. You know, so that is what they are doing, so that there will be no kind of difference in pricing in terms of that. And for me, this is purely economic decision that is aimed because US, they know that the way they actually enjoy sanctioning people, they know that if they don't encourage local production and rely on themselves, and they are relying on other countries for some important materials, those countries can take them ransom. And decide that we are not giving you petrol again, we are not giving you steel again, because you look at manufacturing, you know, steel and iron and all those things, very, very important. So if you want to encourage local industry, you stop what is coming in. And for me, the Europeans and UK and Canadians who are crying, that is what they've done to African countries over the years. They will tell you that, yes, you can produce pineapple, but we will tell you the quantity of pineapple that you can bring in. So them, they are not even putting, how do you call it, tax on it, that they put quota.
But they are not our allies.
Sorry?
They are not our key allies.
So Africans who are our allies.
Oh, we are their masters.
People forget. American has a simple policy that they don't have permanent friends. They have permanent interests. Okay. So today, if they need your steel, they can even give you higher price so that you give it to them. When it comes to a point, because at that point they know that we don't have any local industry producing steel. So what 100% steel that we need, we are importing, so we can give you how much you want and get it. But if our industries are now growing and we want to support them, they can even put total ban on it. And for me, they have been Americans, you know. And for me, the sad thing is if you put it into the perspective of Brexit, because one of the markets that Brexit is targeting is to trade with Americans and Canadians, you know. So if they are now also coming up with these things,
I think they've been quiet. They haven't said much.
Who?
UK in particular.
They can't, because the only market that you have, you cannot be fighting with them. The EU, they know that yes, American market is big, but if EU's, you know, within themselves, they are trading, they fine. But now we've gone out of EU, and the two markets, major markets that we are targeting, they are also trying to be more, how do you call it, egocentric. You know, the protectionist is a bit worrying, but we can only negotiate. So for this one, that's one of the things that will give Trump some support in America. Though he will lose friends abroad, but he doesn't care, really. Because they all do.
But in the long term, that's the question. Because the EU, Canada have all retaliated. In a few months, their retaliation will begin.
Yeah.
So in the long term, who will win? Who will win? America or the EU or Canada?
Maybe the winner.
Economy.
Maybe the winner.
Then maybe that will have a negative effect.
No, maybe the winner will be Africa. Okay, because at the moment, Africa is not major trading partner with any of these countries. So the steel that UK is producing and going to America, if now economically it's too expensive to send it to US, and it will make sense to send it to Africa, they will come to Africa. And if these people are saying that they also retaliate, what it means is that they will be also taxing or putting tax on imported goods from US. So US will also see that, oh, it doesn't make sense to export goods to Europe. It makes sense to go to Africa. So we may be having a choice to be buying from all these things. So let them fight, and then maybe we will benefit from that.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr.
That is if you have huge money to buy those things that they produce.
Yeah, it's 7:30 now, and our time is almost up. But the last topic that we will touch on briefly, and maybe as a learning message to our African country will be what we can call the first impeachment, successful impeachment in the history of Spanish political term. Yesterday, no, today, the Spanish PM was impeached because there was some element of bribery and corruption among a treasurer within his party. But this PM's inability to manage it properly has led to his impeachment. So my question I'm asking Anna is, you can relate it to Ghana or Africa in general. Do you think it's a good cause, and can we learn from it what has happened in Spain? If we can enact laws to impeach presidents.
I think if you ask me that question, I don't know. You are all here that it happened in South Africa, it happened in Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, impeachment.
Yeah, Mugabe was taken out.
But no, was there under corruption? Maybe someone doing corruption under
it doesn't matter if it's corruption or, but if it was still, there was corrupt practices among his ministers and military men and all those there were a number of issues that came up into his impeachment. You see, so if you mention that when will Africa learn? Africa has done it even before Spain. You see, so I don't buy your assertion because we've done it in Africa.
Recently, when will Ghana learn it? Let's narrow it down to Ghana.
When the time comes, I think it will happen in Ghana because no one thought it will happen in Zimbabwe. We thought Mugabe would be in power to say that now I'm going. That it happened. Look at Jacob Zuma.
I think Mugabe won
two
occasions.
On two the first occasion, he was able to escape it, but the second one, it's actually took him out of power. So it's something that maybe you will think is far from Africa, but it's not. It can actually happen in Africa because when it comes to corrupt practices, it's all over. And sometimes it takes boldness and then to approach these issues, impeachment issues. And by the time you go through it, you've done a lot of extensive work underground to ensure that you are fighting a good cause. Listen, it's not just a day. It takes a lot of time. Who knows Ghana? You are heading towards that. Who knows? Maybe, yeah, maybe some extensive.
Impeachment, if his man.
That is what I'm saying. Who knows you are heading towards that? Maybe it takes time. It will take time, but definitely it's happening in Africa and it can happen anywhere in the world. So, like time.
Okay, thank you, Nana, very much.
I need to go for another assignment now.
Okay. Mr. Manuel.
So am I allowed to?
Yeah, you can, and I thank you very much. And
yeah,
finishing a meal anyway.
Yeah, I need to. I'm traveling.
We'll be finishing in a few minutes anyway. So
see you.
See you, Nana. Thank you.
Okay, you take care. Yeah. Be a good man. Well,
Mr. Manuel.
It's interesting because if you look into the allegations critically, basically they are talking about corrupt practices that happened between 1999 to 2005, about political party funding and all those things. So it's not like a treasurer per se doing something, but the whole party think there's something wrong, and appear those who were funding the party, now that they're in power, they are using it to get positions and or contract or whatever. So it's a big issue, and actually the treasurer has been in prison for that, but they believe that if it is the whole party, then whoever is benefiting from it as prime minister should also be affected. And for me, this is standard. People should not be allowed to benefit from their booty. So it's good that this thing has happened. And I know Ghanaians or Africans in general, or human beings generally, we all try to copy from others if it's something good. So, like you were saying, we may learn from that. Nana has given examples of corruption and people being impeached. But those instances, the presidents or the prime ministers were actively involved in those corrupt practices. But this time round, it's more about their party rather than them. But they are saying that you are a member of that party to the extent that you become the prime minister, so you should have known and done something about it. So more or less, it's like aiding and abetting or colluding with them. So you need to lose your position. Probably that is what we need to look at and strengthen our laws. So that if I'm an MPP man, say I'm a member of parliament, and I see my colleague member of parliament doing something untoward, if I don't say it, I can also lose my position. Then chances are that I will expose that person rather than I wait for that person to finish and that person goes alone if it's caught. If it's not caught, sometimes you won't say the duty. And that's why sometimes you see people defending other people that, oh, they can't do the blah, blah, blah. So maybe we can look at it in a broader perspective and amend our laws to reflect that. But yes, democracy is growing and people are looking at it from different angles and those things. And, that is why I'll go back to the previous topic, that nepotism has become... No, it's important, nepotism has become something that we talk about, like job. So the mentality is that even someone does you a favor by giving you a job. Because as we are talking now, if the manager of the studio employs me to clean the studio for him, we should look at it that I'm not doing the manager any favor by cleaning here. And the manager is also not doing me a favor by employing me. I need the employer, and the employer also needs me. So it's 50-50. No one is, doing the other favor. As soon as we see it like, oh, I'm doing a favor by employing you.
As maybe CEO not of this company, but a major company, which maybe you don't qualify. That's where the problem comes from.
If you are talking about don't qualify, who will do that? Why do you employ somebody as CEO if they don't qualify? Would you do that?
That's where the nepotism can come in.
No, I'm not sure that is nepotism. If you are putting square holes in round, heads, then yes, I will agree with you on that. But for me, if I'm accountant, and already I'm in UK as an accountant, and you employ me in Ghana as accountant, this is a work that I may have 10 years or whatever years experience.
And maybe there could be someone with the same number of experience than you, but because of maybe your connection, you get it. That's where...
That's why you'll be talking about favoritism.
And nepotism, they all go together.
Well, but even, for me, that is even...
Anyway, our time is up to...
Because when you decide to recruit CEO, you not necessarily take the one with more experience. When you interview them, because sometimes people come with temperament, and you will look more than experience. Somebody has done it for so and so years. Maybe you are building your business. You want a leader that you grow the business with for the next 10 years. Then you get me that I will go pension in 2 years' time. You believe that, oh, if I take Isaac, has he the experience? But in 2 years' time, you'll be on pension. I want somebody that can be the leader of this company for the next 5, 10 years. You go for somebody less experienced, but because of your vision that you are going for that person.
Less experience, but maybe
that's right, career progression, and people do it in different ways. Sometimes even the person that you are recruiting with less experience is willing to take even lower salary too. And maybe if you're also growing your company, you know that, this one has got experience, but I can't match the salary. I want somebody who for now can do with this. So many things we take into consideration. But if government does the same analysis, more or lower salary, it will be deemed as, oh, is it a girlfriend or baby mama somewhere or whatever? You know, it's so interesting. But for me,
your last word to the listeners.
My last word to the listeners is that I will not let anybody take me that he's giving me work and he's doing me a favor. And I want every person, I'm an employee, so I want every employee to stand on their toes to say that their employers are not doing them any favor by employing them. Because they need you and we also need them. It's 50-50. We are not doing them a favor by working for them, and they are also not doing us a favor by employing us. We are all having the same aim because it's not easy. You wake up early in the morning, you leave your family home and go and work for somebody 8 hours, 9 hours. You come home and you spend 2 hours with your family, and that person believes he's doing you a favor. No, you are working for them to meet the needs of your family.
And he gives you money, so.
That is the issue. So, and the money that is given to you is based on the work that you are doing. So that money that is given to you is not for the Christmas. Okay? And you also get that money because of the work, you know. So that is why it's two things. So when people say that, oh, they're giving you a favor by appointing you into this position or that position. Why don't we do we do doctors favor?
No, positions are different. I think that's where you get it wrong. Positions, top positions are different.
As if they are not trained for. These top positions, like people go to school and they learn business management and they learn. You cannot just take this position because it's top, you know.
And how do they get it? If had it not been their relative or someone close by who was within
Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah was brought from UK to Ghana to be the secretary of the then political agitation that was going on.
That was a corruption-free Ghana.
So what I'm saying is, when people know your skills and competence, they always come for you.
Back then, but now, you have to be very, very influential and get a connection.
That's what?
Yeah, you should know. You are into politics, so you know.
Listen, I'm into politics.
A lot of people went to Ghana hoping they would get some position when I came into power.
And they did not.
They couldn't.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have that influence.
But others did not go, but they were called.
No, nobody went.
Others were invited to come and take position.
Because they have the link.
Not the link, they have the skills.
No, they have the link.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. Some people may have more the link. Listen, I'm a politician. There are some positions that sometimes you don't need to have special skills. And those positions, there are 101 people who can fill those positions. So if you go back to, like if you're in UK and you go to Ghana to have such position, you'll be disappointed because they don't need special skills. Okay. Now, we are not talking about engineers to help us build our train system and those things. The skills, and few people have it, you know. So you don't need to even market yourself to them. They will come for you. So there's a Ghanaian in Canada or this who is doing this, and they will approach you, and you will look at the money and say, no, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. You know. But there's some position that every person like me can hold that position.
Like DC.
Like DC, that's right. You know, people will say first degree, and some of them don't even have first degree, and they hold it. But if you are talking about first degree, in Ghana, do you know a number of people who have first degrees? You know, and you don't have to be first degree in science or engineering or whatever, you know. So if you go to Ghana to be the DCE there, then you have to be prepared to face the women organizer or the youth organizer and the chairman there, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So
thank you, Mr. Vande, for your submission. Our time is past fine, and this is where we bring the program to
when they need program engineers and those things, because you are limited, they will come to you and you say that, oh, I'm not prepared to work for this party, I work for that party. You will choose, you know. Yeah.
Mr. Vande, the man of integrity, Chairman One, thanks for coming to grace it.
And for me, that you know, if every person stands for the right thing, you know, that's it.
That's it. Okay. Yeah, that's from Mr. Vande.
After the program, I will tell you something.
Okay. Yeah, that would be very good. So yeah, this is where we end the program. Thanks for your time, viewers and listeners. Thanks very much for your time. The program, if you lost any section of it, it will be on Facebook. So you can go to our page, Gob TV and radio. It will be there, and you can have a quick recap of it. It will also be on YouTube, for it was YouTube Live as well. So if you miss any action, you can always follow it. I'll end the program here by thanking you all again. And the general passed through today to say hi to us. My regard to the general. My regard to all the listeners again. Sugar, I greet you wherever you are. I hope you meet next week.
The Member of Parliament for South Dying is also a legal practitioner, Roxanne Nelson Dapamokwa. Say good morning to you.
Good morning, Rowan.
How are
good morning
you?
To your viewers.
I've heard of you.
Good morning to
Mesa. Andrew Japan Mesa, Member of Parliament for Second, also a legal practitioner, is here. You used to practice?
Well, I got my certificate to practice not too long ago, so I'm going to hit the ground running. So,
okay,
indeed,
so
I've not been in court since
okay.
I came into Parliament.
Because
I didn't have permission, even though I'd applied. It took a while for the process to be completed. So now I can, yes.
Do some work on the side. It doesn't mean you have to be in court, but you can do some consulting.
Absolutely.
so solicitor work.
Some solicitor.
Yeah.
But I do Mondays. I go to court.
You go to court?
On Mondays.
Oh, okay. For your firm?
Yes.
Great. That's why you look good all the time.
Oh my.
But you necessarily need extra income to survive in this political environment. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
These are old briefs. These are old briefs. These are old briefs.
Let's see how it goes.
Anyway, good morning.
Good morning.
To my
Good
good
morning.
friend.
Good morning. I'm told
this morning.
Anas has a piece on Parliament. You know about that? It's being rumored, speculated. But there's one involving the football fraternity that will be shown on June 6th. Already, we've had Kennedy Japan, who is a member of Parliament for Asin Central, raising some issues and feels that he's entering into the bedroom of people. It needs to be stopped before the time. There's been publication of pictures, etc. And now the GJ has come out with a statement saying that the way it is going, Anas needs to be protected, etc. Let me pick your few thoughts on it before we go mainstream into the issues we want to discuss.
Well, I saw a GGA statement yesterday. I was wondering how somebody who is not known to anybody
is known to
at
people,
least
not to the public.
Not to the public, will require protection. You know. And so I guess that the law enforcement agencies will have to make a determination whether indeed his life is at risk to you know, as it were, provide him with some security. But to the extent that Kennedy Japan is raising issues, I mean, he's not the first to have raised issues about the modus with which Anas uses to, as it were, elicit, if you like, evidence from people and brands it as expose. You know, indeed, yesterday I was having a conversation with a colleague of mine, and he informed me that one of the customs officers who was apparently exposed.
Or in that initial,
In that
one of
Seb's
the
tape
Seb's tape.
was set free by the court because he had sent someone with a 50 Ghana cedi note to go and buy him credit. Now the person comes back with the change and the scratch card, and of course that is the bit that was captured and put on the tape as he being corrupt. His lawyers got a court to compel and asked to produce the full tape, and it turned out that essentially what had been put in the tape as some corrupt act was in fact not the case. People have complained that essentially baiting and entrapping people in itself has its own issues. I believe that the Evidence Act says that evidence, no matter how obtained, is essentially admissible. So, to correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a criminal practitioner. So and these things, if you don't work with it every day, sometimes you get to forget some of the things. So to that extent, I mean, to be honest, I've never really followed his work, because he did some supposed expose about Africa Legal Aid, the coffee shop, so-called brothel issue, and that involved my cousin, and it was completely untrue, and she had to leave Ghana and all sorts of things. So I have a certain viewpoint with regards to his work, but then again, I mean, some of the things that he's done clearly exposes people who ordinarily ought to not be doing the kinds of things that they are caught on tape to be doing, and people ought to be held accountable for their actions. So it's a thin line, and you really can't as it were pinpoint as to whether his modus ought to be criticized and not encouraged, or that, as his boss Kubako, a very good friend of mine, has said, that his is to name and shame. And of course, if there are no skeletons in your cupboard,
you should not be afraid.
Absolutely. So I really do not have any particular view about what Anas does, with respect to his work. But I guess if he helps the community and the society as a whole in putting people in check, to guard their actions, there's a sense within which you can say it's useful, it's worthy of encouraging. Of course, there's also the sense where if you entrap people, deliberately bait people, as opposed to walking into some act that they are known to be doing, and you investigate to. I mean, to be sincere, I would rather wait for the tape to be aired, and then we'll see what it is that is in there, and then we can.
Roxanne.
First of all, good morning to my constituents, Peki Pali Tongo,
Germany,
Bebe, of course, Germany, effectively, Kaira. It's extremely important to situate the preliminary discussions in some context. Anas, by all standards, has become a global icon in respect of the work he does. And so for me, if there's any form of threat on his life, it ought to be taken seriously. You recall recently, just a couple of days ago, Franklin Kujo of Imani also received some threats for his work. So we should be taking some of these things seriously. Quite apart from that, yes, my brother spoke about his views on the way Anas carries out his work, modus operandi. You see, if you look at the Evidence Act, we used to call it the Evidence Decree 323, particularly Section 51, it talks about relevance. Evidence, however obtained, once it's relevant, the court will admit it. Now, 52 talks about the fact that relevant evidence may not be admissible if, for instance, it will prejudice the case in issue or one party's case. But you see, in all this, very important category of public servants have been affected, but especially our judges. About 2 or 3 years ago, this country nearly collapsed. Yes, when the judiciary was the issues within the judiciary.
Well, the fall bill.
Yes, became a subject of announced investigations. And in fact, 2 or 3 of the judges are still fighting. And as lawyers, when some of these things are playing out in court, we sometimes we pretend as if we don't care. But it forms part of the criminal jurisprudence or our jurisprudence as a common law people. Now, the judges were fighting that the manner in which Anas obtained the evidence that government was relying on to investigate them or to discipline them was wrongful in law. And so to that extent, Section 52 of the Evidence Act should kick in and avail them. They were ignored to the extent that the Supreme Court made pronouncement that evidence, however obtained, however wrongfully obtained, if it is relevant, the court will look at it and place its probative value on it. So these 3 judges, they have left our shores. They are in ECOWAS court now. I think you are aware.
No, I'm not.
Okay. They are in ECOWAS court. Simply fighting the fact that the evidence, the piece of evidence, the critical piece of evidence that the Judicial Council relied on to, as it were, dismiss them, was wrongfully obtained on that single principle of law. But the Supreme Court has affirmed the position of the Judicial Council, but they have taken it further to a global, to a sub-regional court. So it is very important that we have to weigh the 2 viewpoints. Now, Anas has been hailed for every single work that he's done. He's been hailed.
I think Obama came to mention himself.
Yes, I was going to make that point. I don't think an American president came. Maybe perhaps it will happen in the future that you and I will get mentioned for the kind of work we are doing as young parliamentarians. But it hasn't happened yet. And Obama did so in the world of parliament. All right? That is by the side. Now, we speak of the fact that he's come under some heat, particularly from one of our own. But Kennedy was the same Kennedy who was praising Anas a few years ago for exposing corruption and all. Is it because today it is closer to him? Let's be careful. You even recall that the current president, when he was a candidate, he promised that when he comes, he will introduce a tax collection system, and he will adopt what he labeled the Anax principle, where he will get graduates, young graduates, send them undercover, so they can unearth companies that were, as it were, evading tax, who were all under declaring profits, so that by that, as a consequence, they will pay less tax. So it's become a phenomenon. He's helping to clean up the system, as it were. And so for me, let's see what the tape contains on next week, and then we can carry the debate further. But I agree that in the course of his work, some innocent ones are also adversely affected. You should, as much as possible, try to minimize the extent to which innocent people or innocuous events are captured as corruptible, as our sense of corruption at play.
Right.
So the lives of innocent Ghanaians are not destroyed.
All right, okay, let's move on.
Ordinarily, I wouldn't have responded because the points that is made are pretty germane, save to suggest that Kennedy is responding in the manner that he is doing because this is close to him. There's absolutely no basis to draw that conclusion, because if you listen to Kennedy, his view is that, look, yes, investigative journalism, by all means, but the way and manner this thing is going, purely on principle, if we don't stop and address it properly and put the issues in proper context, you'll be sitting at home tomorrow and somebody will come and phone you and put it out there. And private conversations that we have, people's videos that they make privately are put out there in the public domain purely to tarnish people's image. Is that the way to go as a country?
I agree.
So let's not.
I agree with you. I agree. In fact, some of the judges, they were captured in their homes.
You see,
I saw a few of them even in their pie shops.
The point that I'm making really is this: that don't.
Okay, I will draw that comment.
Please,
thank you.
That comment. Yeah. Very well.
Withdraw that. Yes.
Yeah.
We've got to look at the minority accusing government of breaching the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. And it was at a press conference. The former Deputy Minister of Finance, Keselato Forsen, said instead of channeling monies realized from the petroleum sector into infrastructure development, government was rather diverting most of the monies into allocations, more like social welfare allocations, into consumption. For example, he said the annual report of the Petroleum Fund signed by the Finance Minister indicated that 196 million Ghana cedis of some 202 million realized from the petroleum sector was spent on service delivery in education. But it says that was at variance with the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund Act, which stipulates that 70% of total oil revenue allocated to the annual budget funding amount be used to support infrastructure development. His concerns followed the approval of the Finance Committee's report on petroleum funds for 2017. He goes on. He said a huge chunk of the money, instead of going into infrastructure, was going to free SHS. He said, giving a breakdown of the expenditure, he said 6 million Ghana cedis, for example, was used to defray scholarship claims, and he said government was breaching the Revenue Act. According to him, government projected to spend 796 million from the ABFA, but made 868 million and should have done more on the infrastructure front, etc. And the finance minister said, well, whatever it is, they'll take this matter up. Let me start with you, the honorable member for South Dying. The press conference was convened by spokesperson of finance for the minority.
Indeed. Now, what we are simply saying is that there are statutory stipulations regarding how revenues from the energy sector should be applied, particularly the monies that we set aside for ESLA. Now, we have discovered that the government is not applying portions of the fund, or the funds as the revenue as they come in, to build physical infrastructure. And they are rather channeling it into some of their new social intervention policies, or their new policies on social intervention. And what that does is that when there is a deficit in infrastructure in the set subsector, then you will not have to go and look for money from elsewhere to intervene. So by this practice, they are creating a situation in the future where if we have a problem, if we have to expand, for instance, if we have to expand Takrady gas, if you have to expand the storage facilities that we have, if, for instance, we have to FPSO, the FPSOs, if there are issues, they have to be maintained. There is a high cost of maintenance and all that. You will have to look for money from elsewhere. So we are just cautioning them that they should stick to the law. They should ensure that they apply the 70% portion that the law stipulates to building or investing in infrastructure. Then the rest 30% that is available to you to use at your discretion as a government, you can channel them into your social intervention policies. It's a very simple call that we are making. I don't think that this should generate any heat anyway. Because the report that they brought was very clear. We are not saying it. They indicated clearly that the monies are being channeled to free SHS and some other programs. And so clearly, the 70% proportion that the law stipulates will be affected. Yes.
So it means that we're flouting the regulation, essentially. That's what's the concern of the minority.
Well, I don't think that is entirely accurate. Indeed, it's a complete falsehood, if you ask me. I heard him mention ESLA. Well, he did.
Yes, I think that would have been.
But I thought that the issue relates to the petroleum funds.
More like the
ABFA and the Heritage Fund.
You see, they are sister funds.
They can never be. They are regulated under a completely different regime.
But I'm saying they are sister funds.
They are not.
There are regulations governing the use of ESLA. There are regulations governing the use of petroleum funds. You understand my point?
Okay,
so I
get the context.
I cited ESLA as an example.
I get you.
That we can't funds that are supposed to go to
such
ESLA, such as ESLA or ABFA, you can't apply it in variance with what the regulation stipulates. That's the point I'm making.
You see,
clarify.
I really do not understand my friends on the other side.
You have never.
You have an issue. They claim. You have all the avenues within your power as a member of parliament to raise questions, ask questions of the minister to come and explain. Yet, they will take the populist route, organize a press conference, throw out all sorts of things, and when you ask them to prove, then they ask you that, well, it's an allegation, you prove it. Forgetting that the fundamental principle in law is that he who asserts must prove. I haven't seen a copy of their press conference, save the snippets that
Media reports.
You know, but I really fail to see what their issue is, if it is not.
Isn't not the duty of the minority also, and even civil society? And I know PIAC has raised a number of concerns, in his report as well. Even in 2017, they had raised those concerns about the expenditure and